Namaste, Jai Bharat. Yoga. Everyone is familiar with what yoga is, though yoga has many levels of existence. For most people, as we see in the world, yoga is yogasana, disciplining the body and disciplining the mind. But then, of course, yoga's basic text, which is available to us for yoga, is Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, which narrates rather extensively about many aspects and principles of yoga. To concentrate and to focus things, it's absolutely necessary and essential to still the mind, to prepare the mind for a concentration. Indeed, the body needs to be disciplined along with the mind, because a disciplined body only can contain a disciplined mind. So, body discipline is obvious, which we understand through yogasanas, but stilling the mind, rather emptying the mind of any kinds of possible thinking and thoughts, where one could put anything in the mind which is already empty and then further focus on it, should be an archetypal understanding of what upasana or meditation ought to be. Stilling the mind. So normally what we find in Yoga Sutra is many methods of stilling the mind, emptying the mind. Chitta Shuddhi, cleansing of the mind, and the function of the mind has to be cut down, stopped. That is chitta, vritti, nirodha, and all kinds of things. And I've told you this has applications everywhere. But prior to speaking anything more for me, what is most challenging, or what is most important, as I understand, when we look at epistemology, is yoga as a method of knowing. That is an entirely different phenomenon in yoga, where yoga as a method of knowing. That's a different thing. We can discuss about it later as a method of knowing through yogach, etc. Many examples, many things are there in front of us. Now, here I would like to speak about applied level of stilling the mind. I'm using the word stilling the mind for chitta, vritti, nirodha. Like, we have Swami Vivekananda, who made an innovative revelation, that is applied Vedanta. He goes for applied Vedanta. Similarly, there is an applied stilling the mind from the Sri Narayana Guru, mostly popular in the parts of Kerala, except among philosophers. Philosophers knew about Guru, but common people may not know. Common people may not know many uncommon things. That's true. But this is a very phenomenal kind of Guru who has applied this. In one of his poetries, very philosophical poetries, he speaks about aspandatva of mind. Spanda is movement, pulsation. Aspandata is to stop pulsations in mind. Stopping pulsations in the mind is akin to stilling the mind. Actually, it is more than rather stilling the mind. Now, you have to look at Patanjali's method of chitta vritti nirodha and Sri Narayana Guru's aspandatva concept, which is also nishpandatva concept, but he puts the name aspandatva, no spanda, no movement. One can also call it as nishpandatva. Sometimes I call it as nishpandatva, but actually the word expressed by him is aspandatva. Mind has to be aspanda. Now look at the context of Guru. It's actually complicated and interesting. The concept, the ladder to the ultimate real, the ladder to the transcendental, was not provided to a section of people at one time in some societies, where this guru had really created a ladder for everyone to climb up. Normally, these things are for the scholars. See, Patanjali Yoga is for the scholars. You need to have fundamental, basic knowledge to look at and understand Patanjali Yoga, leave alone practicing it. It's meant for scholars. Most of the darshanas in Bharatiya knowledge tradition is meant for scholars, not for all common people. Now, when it comes to applied level, it must have the property of that it affecting vast majority of people who might not have any significant knowledge in their mind already existing. He might not know anything about knowledge tradition. He might not know anything about. He might not have thought seriously about the ultimate reality and all kinds of things. He might have known nothing about the path to reaching the ultimate reality. One path is Guru. One path is Guru. The Guru. If you listen to the Guru, you just go through whatever he says. You will reach moksha. Obviously, this of course is already an established concept for transcendence. Now, when yoga is made applicable, the concept which Sri Narayana Guru provide of aspandatva is stilling the mind. But then if you look at his the shloka, the poetry which he writes, he starts with the concept of God. He speaks to God, and he says simply this for common people who wants to understand God, who wants to internalize God, who wants to realize God, and who wants to become God. Ultimately, that of course he doesn't speak implied, but wants to become God. It is the aspandatva of mind. Clear the mind. Then realize that God, in whichever form you want to see, that God, this of course for a common man. He had made it so simple. In fact, many of the serious Mahavakyas of the Vedas and Upanishads, serious complicated things in the Upanishads, Sri Narayana Guru has made it very simple through simple local language and gave it to people, which really catches people's mind without any complication, without an edifice of a pre-established, serious, deep knowledge tradition. Otherwise, these things you can't understand without having a backdrop knowledge of serious philosophy. He doesn't want you to do that. Without all these things, he makes a shortcut. He simply makes a shortcut because concept of God is very essential for someone who is a beginner, who has no philosophical background. He can't understand anything other than through concept of God. Here, one is trying to internalize God. What is it? Chittavritti Nirodha. He internalizes God. Chittavritti Nirodha is for stilling the mind, for transcendence, for moksha in a different method. Here, of course, moksha is a different method. Though the Guru himself is a Vedanti of the highest order, and Advaita himself, that's for he himself. But for common people, look at him. He provides a concept of God. He begins that poetry by addressing God per se. He says, God protect us, take care of us. You are this, you are this, you are this. And to get you into my mind, I will make my mind aspanda, nishpanda, aspanda. Without movement, without pulsation. That means it is still, completely still, empty, devoid of all thoughts, completely ready to totally receive you. You can do whatever with me. So this is an interesting applied level of yoga, applied level of dhyana, nityatyasana, applied level of stilling the mind, chitta vritti nirodha, chitta shuddhi, etc., very lightly, using less complicated language, in a simple terms, provided to all. That's interesting. It's not meant for scholars. Normally, we have all the great things meant only for scholars. You need definitely set knowledge tradition with you to get these things as comprehension, to understand these things. Here, nothing is required. Any common man who listens, who puts his ears and mind, gets this and understands. He doesn't understand the complicated Vedic or yogic stages of Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Chitta Shuddhi. He doesn't know all these things. He doesn't need to know. He simply attains the goal just through this poetry or the path given to people by Sri Narayana Guru. So let's understand Narayana Guru as who makes up as an applied yogi. He has applied yoga, applied Chitta Vritti Nirodha at a very grassroots common level. We are very fortunate that our nation, our knowledge tradition, the Veda Upanishadi knowledge tradition, has plenty of such divine souls. They are real life divine. Aurobindo's book's name. Divine souls around us. They gives you things in a very simple manner. You needn't to understand Sanskrit. You need to know any deep philosophy. You just have to have a simple, unassuming, and stainless mind. That's a speciality of Sri Narayana Guru and his applied thinking, applied thought pattern. We'll come back to you with some other thought. Again, till such time, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.